A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township. You know, those municipalities that make laws, regulations, and ordinances that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you just went and elected. Or let them stay in office, one of the two.
Right.
And the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not, and the result can be
Taxing.
situation.
Could be. Yep. And there's humor in it, too, you notice?
Yes, there's humor and its friend, Ruma.
Yep. And the humor kind of bubbles to the top, or it kind of floats to the bottom and crashes.
And rumor goes viral.
Yeah, and we try to bring these things out, you know, in this meeting. Of course, this is an abbreviated form of what the meeting would be, because if you ever sit in on some of these meetings, they're, you know, kind of dragging along. Yeah, I was going to say that. They belong to dragons. They just drag on forever.
But
seems like.
If you're a fool for punishment, you can go to OCCTV.org, click on program, and see the meeting in its entirety.
Voila! Right. And let's talk about a couple of meetings that occurred last week. One is Pollyant Trail, which was November 11th. The other one is the Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission, which was the 26th, and you were part of that.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, you were there.
Part and parcel.
Taking up a seat.
No.
You were.
It was empty.
Okay. Well, I happen to know the seat was full after he was sitting in it.
And warm.
Right, okay. So the Pollyant Trail, let's talk about that. November 11th. Mike McDonald serves on that board as a chair. Curtis Wright is the vice chair. Donnie Steele, treasurer, and she's from Orion Township. Elgin Nichols, me, I serve on that. And Bruce Pearson, who's the supervisor of Addison Township. Eric Sant, Aaron Watley, who is also the Parks and Recreation Director for Orion Township. Sue Bassardet was absent. As you know, she's appointed to this board from the village council, and she no longer serves on the village council.
Okay. Did she get replaced by?
She's replaced, yep.
By?
I'm trying to think of her name. Do you recall?
Not
I
Maureen.
don't recall. No.
Not anyone
There's
on
a
the
new
board.
lady.
Logan?
Yeah, Logan. Good. You did good. What's her first
I
name?
can pull rabbits out of hat too.
What about the mini rap?
What's that?
Her first name?
Kathy?
Close enough.
Is it?
Could be Joyce.
Could be. I
Could
don't
be
know.
Sue.
Linda?
I don't know. Anyway, we'll check that out. Take a yellow. Put it right over there.
Hey, I'm lucky to get the last one.
Okay, very good. No, you did good. So they went through the procedure. By the way, Kevin Green is the citizen rep that sits on this board. He's kind of the guy that goes up and down the trail and kicks the goats. Moves the goats off the trail. Checks, make sure signs are there, and if people are happy.
Yeah, that's
a citizen.
A valuable job, actually.
It is very valuable. So anyway, they did the pledge. They got the preliminaries out of the way. They did a prayer. Need a prayer there. Agenda.
Oh, please.
Agenda approval. There was a motion made, and it was approved immediately. Consent agenda was the next item, and there is a minutes amendment that need to be made to the minutes, and the Ralph P. Wilson Foundation. And that's an interesting foundation because they're really providing millions of dollars for various trails throughout the country.
Ralph
Yeah.
P. Wilson?
P. Wilson. You never heard of him, huh?
Never heard of them.
If he knocks on your door and he asks for a place to stay, he's the guy that you want to be
No
friendly
kidding.
with. Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyway, so he's doing a lot, and I think he will do some things for the Pollyant Trail and some of the other trails here in Michigan.
Is this a person that showed up at the meeting, or is it a
No, it's a regular foundation. It's funded through
okay, it's a
millions
it's a
of
national
dollars.
or
It's a
state?
national.
Okay, very good.
National foundation. Matter of fact,
I
I
always
think
use people like that.
I believe they're working right now with trails out in somewhere in New England. That area.
Okay.
So, anyway, it's pretty good that we're able to get involved with that foundation. They had to approve the bills, which was for $7,393.51. That was done quite rapidly. And they received and filed a financial report and the treasurer's report. Notice how we're moving along here. Public non-agenda items. Guess what? There were none.
Oh,
So, citizen report, Pollyant Trail, Mr. Green gave a report, Kevin, about the new signs that are on the trail, that they're pretty nicely spaced, and also about comments that various people that use the trail made. Very positive, particularly in the ribbon cutting ceremony that they had. You may recall that. I think did we do something with that? I'm not sure.
I can't
Station
remember.
did.
No.
Okay. Anyway, excuse me. The trail manager gave a report. Just give you some ideas of what she's been working on. That would be Linda Moran. She's been working on. Remember the gazebo that was donated to the trail?
Where do they put it?
They haven't put it anywhere. They want to move it. You want to move it for them?
Oh.
You can move it. Okay. Get your little two-wheel truck.
There's a gazebo looking for a home.
Yeah. But anyway, she hasn't given up, and she thinks that Linda Moran can find somebody that will actually move this and help position it where they want it.
Where did this gazebo come from?
It's owned by a private business, I
Okay.
believe, at this point. So anyway, it's a homeless gazebo.
A homeless gazebo.
Yeah, so we're going to make it a home.
Looking
Somewhere.
for a home.
Looking for a home, it is. So
That old Bull Weevil song.
Right. The other thing that she's working on is Powell Lake trees that were planted. There were 4 trees, fruit trees planted there, and there's going to be a grant provided to cover these trees for Powell Lake, so you folks will have apples coming off trees over there in Powell Lake. Good.
Only they'd spray them.
Yeah, only if they spray them. Let me see, mile markers also. Those are the signs that they've been putting up, and they're pretty much completed. There are 15 of them that are going in. I think they put 14 up. The 15th one is arriving somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
Just kind of like Christmas.
Kind of with our luck, they'd just get all these up and the nation would decide to go metric.
Yeah. Or you got some little, some little guy that's out there spray painting them. Not a good thing.
Have to pull the stakes too.
Yeah, but I want to say there are cameras on these trails now.
Cameras.
Yeah, so you guys with your little spray paint, put it away. You could get caught. There's quite a fine for that, Not to mention you have to clean up all the
Unless
signs.
it's really good.
Yeah, right. Right.
Then it becomes a work of art.
Well, yeah, and it's all with the critic, though.
Well,
All depends
sure.
on the critic. You would be a
Trail
tough critic.
manager's very critical.
Very critical, it is, yes. She's small but mighty.
Yes,
she'll really attack these 6'8" guys that are doing this nasty stuff and get them all straightened out. She'll drag them by the ear to the police department.
Yikes.
Yeah. So she's a very aggressive little gal and a very solid person to have in this particular job.
Good.
And with that, we'll talk more when we come back right after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Hill with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Kids today are surrounded by screens, starting when they're babies. But children don't need to learn to use technology right away. Toddlers learn best by playing, reading, talking, and singing with their parents. You, not an app, are your child's best teacher. When you are ready to introduce media, choose wisely and set some boundaries. Visit healthychildren.org/media use plan to create your plan.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. We're back again.
Hi, I'm Dave Kenny, and this is
Elgin Nichols. Boy, I sure got this one running around the corner, don't we?
You're back
360
into that
degrees
one.
and back in. Okay, but we're talking about the Pollyann Trail meeting that came up last week. And Linda Moran, all these various activities she's involved in coordinating efforts. Roland Road, there's a request to put a gas line underneath the Pollyann Trail, so that has to be dealt with. Making sure that everything's all kosher and the DNR is
local
is
residential
aware of it.
one, or is it like an Enbridge kind of a thing?
It's a local residential
Okay,
kind of thing.
all right.
Yep. Storage shed also, they're trying to establish a location where a storage shed could be built, and she's very diligently looking into that as well, and try and get some cost of what a shed would cost to build it from the ground up. Asphalt for Oxford for the trail there, that's all taken care of and done.
Is
She
that for
said
repair or actual paving?
it was repair.
Okay.
And 5-year plan has to be presented in order to be able to access various grants. And it's not completed yet, but she is working on it. And there's quite a discussion over that part of it, of what this plan has to entail. Pure Michigan application was submitted, and you become part of Pure Michigan. Again, it opens you for grants and certain funding. And I don't think there's a lot of people that really have been appointed to the Pure Michigan as far as the trails. According to Linda, there were 5 applications that were submitted. Not very many
That were trails or in total?
in total so
Wow.
far at this point. So anyway, so it kind of opens the door, for Pollyant Trail to receive some funding.
Good.
So that's a good thing.
She's out there digging, isn't she?
Yeah, now let's talk about crap.
What?
The toilet in Leonard is being repaired. And until then, there's a gentleman who offered a, what do they call these little porta potties?
I was going to say
Yeah.
a trench.
No, that would be in the military. You dig
I
a trench, and then after you're safe, then you use it. You know how that works.
I was lowballing it
I know,
there.
you're pretty sure. So anyway, you're glad you carried me into this one, aren't you?
Yeah, you started it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yes, mother dear. So, so anyway, so there will be a new facility for you folks over in Leonard. Probably not till springtime, though. A developer came forward and said that he'd like to build a subdivision also that would actually cross the Pollyant in a certain area. I believe it's in, Bruce Pearson's territory over in Addison Township.
When you say cross it, in other words, the Pollyant Trail will be smack dab in the middle of it?
Right. Well, the problem is it's going to be encroachment unless it gets approval to do something. Well,
Don't they have to go to the DNR to get that kind of approval?
well, that's all part of it, but it also has to get approval from the township
Right.
because there's certain ordinances required, for certain developments that can
So
go in
does this
there.
developer have land on both sides of the trail, obviously?
I think he probably does, but if he doesn't, I'm sure the Planning Commission with Addison Township will set him straight.
I see.
And that's part of the plan. And rather than Pollyant Trail people getting involved with this conversation,
Unless he's willing to pave it.
Well, yeah, all right, I don't think that'll work. But I think Bruce Pearson said, do have these people come to the township. That's the first step. So, good point taken. Next thing they did talk about is new business. And in 2018, Pollyant Trail Management Council budget amendments were approved, and it was for $66,465. You know how amendments work.
Yep.
You've been dealing with those, right?
Yeah, we just went through that at the OACCC. Yeah.
Right, we'll talk about that down
Yep.
the pike here. Not very far down the pike either.
Right on.
Okay. 2019 meeting schedule also was reviewed and agreed upon, but pretty much during a discussion, there's no action really taken. I think I gave you didn't I give you the calendar?
Yes, you did, and I really appreciate that.
Okay, that's for the Pollyant Trail, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Now we can schedule our video people to go out and get you guys.
All right. Well, every day I have this guy that comes up to my desk and he says, "Hey, do you have a schedule yet? Do you have that schedule?" So I made sure I put a schedule on your desk today.
So you'll have a peaceful and quiet life for at least a week now.
At least for a week. Right, until the next one comes along. American Land Title Association, ALTA, does surveys for Pollyant Trail. And what it does is, under the survey, according to other trails, it provides you a good vehicle to stop encroachment. In other words, if there's an encroachment situation,
By
having a
landowners?
survey, it actually gives you the boundary lines and everything required. So
Sure.
there's no big major discussion. There's no reason to bring somebody out and do a survey at that time.
Do they
have
do
it.
this for free?
No, they don't do this free. Well, funny you should ask. So this was the question that came up. Do they do it for free? And Linda Moran says, no. It's the same as I told you. And they said, well, can you check into it and see what the cost would be? And also, what the parameters are involved, to get this thing going if we decide to do it. And she said, okay, I'll do that. So that's pretty much what happened. There was no action
Is this
taken.
outfit a profit-making organization or a
Oh, I'm pretty sure it
nonprofit?
is.
No, or is it a nonprofit?
Unless it's a relative
It does
of yours.
things out of the goodness of their heart.
Relatives a lot of times
I
don't do
see.
things for free. These people are not relatives, so I'm pretty sure they're going to charge.
So much for friends and family.
Takes care of that one. Okay. The Clarkston Connector ribbon cutting ceremony. There's a quick review of what went on there. And there was donuts and cider given out
All
to
right.
people that attended. And those are through the donations of Linda Moran and through Donnie Steele.
Well, that's right. It's been working a little bit now
Yeah, right. Okay.
since the harvest.
That's true. Pollyant Trail council officer election. That came up next. And guess what happened?
What?
Curtis Wright was put in the chair position. Mike McDonald, who was in the chair position, he said, please don't vote for me. But he said he would be considered for the vice chair. So he said that, got it no sooner out of his mouth, and he was appointed. He was appointed as the
careful what
vice
you wish
chair.
for.
Right. Donnie Steele, she said, I will take the treasurer's position again. She said, I don't mind that as long as Joe Ferrari, provides the financial information
Right.
to me. And so they said they didn't see any reason why Joe wouldn't do it, and he wasn't angry at
Oh, by the way.
Terry.
Who got stuck with the job as secretary?
That would be me. Yeah. Yeah. Bruce Pearson says, Nichols has done such a good job.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Nobody else wants to raise their hand.
No good deed goes unpunished.
No deed goes unpunished. So I got punished. No, I didn't get punished. It's not that bad. Somebody has to do it, so you have to step up, right? You know
Sure.
that. Okay. Unfinished business. Linda Moran, she did talk about Tanview, which was a cleanup, was completed, a fence problem, that kind of thing, and it was a infringement on the property for the trail. And that was a long-running legal situation that occurred there, and that's why one of the surveys had to be taken to show this guy, you have moved over on property that's not yours.
Right.
So if it was finally agreed upon that that was the case, and so they had to remove a fence and do some cleanup, that was done. Also, the Wood Trail update. Remember the one where the county's working on?
That big hole in the ground?
Yeah, big hole in the ground. Well, they've actually filled the hole in the ground, but there's a lot of other unfinished work to be done yet.
Have they figured out who's going to pay for it?
Well, that is part of it, and I guess the trail will pay for some of it, but they refuse to pay for anything until it's completed. And they know all the, like you say,
Well, what was the
Dot
root,
the I's
what was
and
the
cross
root
the
cause
T's.
of the problem?
it was actually a failure of a culvert that should have been replaced a number of years ago, and the county knew about it. They just,
Was the
what you do with
culvert on,
budgets, you
was
put
the
it off,
culvert
put
was
it
the
off.
culvert on Pollyant Trail property?
Partially, it actually affected the trail property, through drainage,
Right.
and erosion. So that was part of the issue. And of course, everybody's looking for somebody else to pay for it. And it looks like the county at this point is going to pick up the bulk of it. I believe the township has also looked at this to some degree, and they've said that they're not going to pay any major amount of whatsoever because they were aware of it. But with that, that pretty much covers the Pollyant Trail. You folks can learn more, as he says, by going to OCCTV.org and clicking.
On program.
Yeah, and go to the program, and you can view the whole thing in its entirety. We'll talk more about that when we come back right after this, huh?
There you go.
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And now we are going to talk about the Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission.
Commission.
Those guys.
OACCC.
Those guys.
Those guys.
Right. Okay. This guy maintains actually the budget for the
Along
TV
with
station
Bill
here.
Service, our manager.
Yes. And Bill Service says, all right, where'd all the money go?
You'll wonder where the money went.
And he says, I don't know. So anyway, Ed Hunwick is the chair for this particular commission. Bill Dunn serves on this board as well as secretary, and Jacob Newby. I think there's going to be a different secretary, though, isn't there? Isn't that usually Maureen Helmuth that does that? But she was gone.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, she was absent, Maureen Helmuth. Jacob Newby, who's representative of Addison Township. Shar Sotheby from Leonard. And Bill Service, of course, is the station manager. Dave Kinney sits on this board as well. Non-voting members. Terry Stiles also, non-voting.
She attends all the meetings.
She attends all the meetings in case there's any questions. She pretty much is got to keep an eye on this guy. I think that's what her job is.
Well, she's got a lot of issues that she brings to the meeting too. So
Yeah, she does.
especially Senate Bill number 637.
Tell me more.
Stuck in everybody's craw.
It is, yeah. That's going to be an interesting one because as it is shown from the state of Michigan, there's a lot of municipalities, villages,
I think they actually
townships
had a
that
vote
are.
on it yesterday. I believe,
Yeah, and they approved it.
in the House.
Yeah.
So,
So
that's
it's
not
going to go
good
to the
news.
Senate next. But I think that it'll be challenged because there's so many municipalities that are against it. I think you'll find it'll end up in the Supreme Court, state
Yeah.
Supreme Court, before it's finished. What do you think?
I think it might. I think
Okay.
the wheels are turning.
Yep, they're squeaky, but they are turning.
Yeah, more and more people are finding out exactly how they're going to be impacted. Not only TV stations, but also municipalities that, in some cases,
Right-of-ways.
have in some they get significant monies from the franchise fees, and that's what's at risk right now. And also
Permits
the
as
whole
well.
issue of right-of-ways, they'll lose control of it, and also.
Yeah, they
The
could.
ability of the cable companies to put in these refrigerator-sized boxes on poles to facilitate, I think it's 5G.
Yeah, but you know what? They're only good for about 500 feet maximum,
The
so they're
higher
going to
the
have them all.
frequency, the
Those.
shorter the range.
Yeah, they're going to have them like dominoes. I mean, they're going to be up and down the street, and you folks out there won't have anything to say about it. You have this refrigerator-sized box sitting in front of your
I think
place.
cell towers are bad.
Yeah, and not only that, but if they continue to go in this direction, even digging the hole, leaving the debris, they're not required to remove it, as the township would require them to do it, or the county would require them to do it. So
It's
they're going to be running
big-
willy-nilly.
a big issue, and people are finding out more and more about it and
Yeah.
getting upset.
This is
We
one.
actually had a call from Martha's Vineyard about it the other day.
Really? That's kind of out in the water, isn't it?
And he was a owner of a station there that wanted to find out how to properly contact the FCC.
It's going to become a federal issue at some point, probably, I'm sure. But anyway, it's going to impact you folks in this area, and we as a TV station, certainly. But so anyway, so they began with the preliminaries, got the preliminaries out of the way. They approved the minutes for August 27th. Bills in the amount of $149,612.22.
Well, it's a lot because we only meet on a quarterly basis now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you why it was so high.
Well, there's an elephant in the room, and it's our new station that's being built.
Oh,
And
have you seen that elephant yet?
well, we've earmarked a considerable amount of money, and a good portion of it is going to be spent in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been a long planning
That's right.
session that they've had in the last 2-3
But
years.
it's got a floor, it's got walls, and it's got a roof now, and an insulation.
Wow, that's neat. Does it have heat? No, it has no heat.
Well,
No
you ask
electricity,
for
no
everything.
electricity.
You just ask for everything, don't you?
Does it have doors?
In its time.
It's windows.
In its time.
Okay. So anyway, so we're
You're
going
actually about to meet with somebody about the electrical pattern.
I am. Dennis is
Yep.
the guy, electrician, very
right.
sharp guy.
Things are happening, folks.
And we're going to go and we're going to show where all the power goes in there. The power goes in before the whatever.
You'll wonder where the
Yeah,
station
right.
went.
All right, all right. And Bill said, Bill, the service manager, or station manager, he said, let's eliminate everything in this room, as far as the studio is concerned, starting next month, and only have a green board. So, can you sing green board?
Hopefully, it's not a small one.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be. So anyway,
Be
so
sitting on cushions.
those things are happening, and I believe there's a deadline for us to get out of here, and it's February what, 28th?
February 28th of 2019.
Okay, okay.
But the building is coming along at a pretty good clip right now.
Yep. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So we should be over there, and there's a lot of work to be done between now and then, of course. The question came up from Ed Hunwick is, what's needed to move to the new location? And they said, well, we won't need petitions, which we have here, so we have to get rid of them. Anybody want to buy petitions?
Well, there will be partitions,
Office
except they're
petitions.
going to be the low partitions, which allow for communications between those people like
Yeah.
Bird that are in our edit group.
Right, they call
can
those
talk
knee
with you.
walls, you know.
Knee walls?
Yep, knee walls. when they only come up to your knees.
Well, it's not that low.
How low can you go? Okay,
More
not
shoulder.
that low.
It's more shoulder wall.
Yeah, they're knee walls. So anyway, and they're going to be solid walls, and they're going to be constructed in that way, and they're not portable walls. That's what they're going to be, right? Okay, electronics to be moved. We have a subcontractor that's going to be coming in, Curtis Toko. He'll be working with me on that part of it, pretty much.
Oh, by the way.
By the way.
By the
Here's
way.
that segue I keep hearing. By the way.
By the way, I segued.
What?
As the move starts progressing, we'll be taking down a lot of our partitions that we have here that are very nice, by the way, and we will make them available for sale.
We should have a kind of a rummage sale or something, because we've got all kinds of different things here. We got lights, fixtures, all kinds of things that we won't need there, right?
I might have orders to put the partitions up on Craigslist, but that doesn't keep someone from making an offer right now.
Right, that's true. That's true. And if you got a small studio, or if you like to have a small studio in your basement, I mean, we got some pretty
You have a small office,
nifty walls or
small
lights.
business, be wonderful partitions.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, so next question came up was Terry Stiles medical insurance. There was quite a discussion over that, and then it was kind of shelved for a while. And next thing was the employee handbook.
Actually, it wasn't shelved.
Okay, what
so much.
happened?
They-
Tell me more.
They approved the rolling $600 that's allocated to her medical insurance, a max. And because of complications with taxes and what have you, they were just going to roll it into her salary.
Oh, it's a roller.
A roller.
And when it rolls downhill, it gains speed. No? It's rolling uphill.
And it might go away.
It might go away. Okay, so anyway, the next thing that they talked about was the handbook, the employee handbook.
That's right.
That's notorious.
Well, it's not notorious.
There's been
It's-
rumors.
Well,
Is it real?
we've been dipping it in and wringing it out for I don't know how many years now.
It's a big
But we
dipper.
finally hired an outsourced company to put one together with their expertise. And by George, we've got it. We've given it to each member of the commission, and they're going to make some suggestions as they read through it. And
It will be coming down the line.
within the next meeting or so, we'll have a fully functional handbook that we'll give to our employees.
And we can quote him on this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And quoting him, what's coming up?
What's
I'd like to
coming
know.
up? We've got a lot of meetings. On 11/10 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Check on that one. You know how that goes. They cancel
Oh,
them a
by the
lot.
way, the Zoning Board of Appeals for the village is going to be in effect. I happen to know. I'm on that board. It's going to be Dave Weckel's
Let me
request.
get to it first.
Oh, you're not there?
But I may not be getting it.
I stole your thunder?
At 7 o'clock, and that same day on 11/10, Village of Leonard Council is meeting. And on 11/11 at 6 o'clock at Addison Township Planning Commission. And at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council. And at 6:30, the Oxford School Board will be meeting at Oxford High School. I think there's an award thing they're going to be doing
Oh,
there.
okay.
Athletic and academic. And on 11/12 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees. And on 11/13 at 7 o'clock, the Township Planning Commission. And at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay, there we have it, huh? Good job. You made it through there. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And our video people will be very busy that way. And I'm Dave Kenny.
Catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
We'll see you there.